Welcome to RTBro's Trading Academy, where we focus entirely on the charts. We ignore the news because it can be manipulated, and we also ignore fundamentals because they cannot be quantitatively valued. So, I have not done a market update in a while, so let's go ahead and dive in and let's do a massive update on what's going on in the state of the market and what is expected to happen from here. Let's dive in. Now, I have been updating you guys on Discord. So if you're not on Discord, I cannot stress it enough how you need to be in here so you're not missing the most up-to-date information. I also did a live stream last night, so I am producing as much as I can and expect a lot more content from me over the next few days. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Bitcoin, right? And I mentioned this last night as well as in the Discord server, and let's see what was actually said about it. We were able to call the top because we had a super low time frame, rounded top style of consolidation, and we also have a series of bearish divergences with RSI. Let's dive in and see exactly what that means. So first off, this was the pump that we had that got us all the way up to around 42,000, right? It was an aggressive pump, but over here we can definitely tell we were starting to lose some sort of strength. And how can we tell that? Well, the first thing is this rounded top style. Okay, when you have a rounded top like that, that's actually a bearish indicator. What you want to see is you want to see an aggressive movement, something like this. And then after you get the aggressive movement, you want to see sort of a consolidation of this nature, right? The reason why is because if you have a series of higher highs that keep forming, each one of these higher highs is actually forming a bearish divergence. Over here on this one, since you're not making a series of higher highs and instead you're making a series of lower highs, you're not actually losing that strength on the RSI. And what I mean by here is, as you can see right here, this was the high that was formed. This was the top of the RSI. The next high right here, the next top on the RSI. As you can see, we have a series of higher highs, but the RSI actually made a lower high on RSI, which shows that this is losing strength. Now, when we popped again to the upside, what happened? We once again printed another lower high. And then lastly, over here, we once again formed another high. However, the RSI showed that it was not able to produce any strength, and it once again formed a lower high on your RSI. This is a bearish divergence, and it's textbook. And as you can see, once we kept dipping, and we were not able to make any new highs, we did round over, and we did have a pretty decent collapse. However, what's so significant about that? Well, the first thing is, as you guys can see, this is the golden, we're currently in, or we are just bounced from the golden pocket retracement of that most recent move. So as you can see, from 37,000 up to 42,000, the golden pocket retracement is right around where we actually bounced from. Now, not only that, another really cool thing to look at when it comes to golden pocket retracements is if you take this entire downtrend to the very bottom, where did we reject at? There you go. Golden pocket again, guys. See that? 618 to 702. These golden pockets are cheat codes. And I've talked about this in many different videos. Anytime you have a golden pocket retracement, this is going to act as an immediate resistance in this level, or it's going to act as an immediate support if it's falling down after an impulse. All right, and that's what's happening here. We had an impulse. Now we have a sort of corrective movement, and so now this is now acting as a support level. This looks really, really good. Now, what is going to happen from here? Let me find the right chart so I can show you guys what I was looking for. I have so many Bitcoin charts. Give me 1 second. Is this one it? Nope. 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 And this crazy many charts I have. It's nuts, guys. All right, here we go. So we have this daily breaker that was formed, and this daily breaker actually acted as a lot of resistance. As you guys can see, we tested against it, tested against it, tested against it. We broke above it, and now we're coming back in for a retest. This looks like a bullish retest on this daily breaker. And remember, it's a daily breaker, so you could absolutely have this wick to the downside. There's nothing wrong about that. As long as in 3 hours we are above this weekly breaker, or at least inside of it, this is a successful reclaim of it. And it's just a bullish retest. This looks really, really good so far. All right. Now, ultimately, I am expecting us to pump to the upside. I do expect this to happen. we're either going to be able to accelerate very rapidly from here and essentially go towards our golden pocket retracement zone at 55,000 to 58,000, or we may consolidate here for a while before eventually popping to the upside. All right, this is my expectation. One of these two things, either forming some sort of an ascending triangle or just reversing and popping the upside. Now, for altcoins to have more of a run, you want to see something like this happen. However, I would not be surprised if we just pop the upside and we just take off. Now, the reason why I do think that we are going to be able to pop the upside is because this monthly breaker has acted as a very strong resistance level, but it has been tested many times already. As you guys can see, a test, a test, a test, a test. So this will be the 5th test into it. So I really don't think this level is going to hold that much longer. All right. So if we do start pushing upwards, which I am expecting to see happen soon, I think it's going to be aggressive, and I think that we are going to make quite a substantial movement, and I really do think that our $55,000 region is going to get tapped. Now, like I've said in previous videos, this is the region where I'm really expecting to take a lot of profits here. I'll be really cutting back on all my positions on across the market, no matter where my altcoins are at. This is where I'm going to be pulling out a ton of my profits so that I can reassess and reevaluate and then see if we're going to continue going up. But ultimately, I do expect it to come down up here and then at least have some sort of a drop down lower. All right. What else? What else? What else? So another thing to look at over here is on the longs. This is another reason why I'm still bullish, because guys, people are still long in this market. Okay. As you guys can see, the longs continue to increase. This does not look like people are losing confidence in the market. What this tells me is that the people that have the money are actually entering the market. Okay, they are actually gradually opening new positions because they're having confidence that we are going to continue going up. And if these are the major players that are able to move this chart around, that means that they have enough of a capital to also cover their positions to make sure they don't get liquidated. So as long as this chart continues to go upwards, I'm going to continue to be bullish on Bitcoin as a whole. Now, the inverse on here is the short position, right? And we did have a really strong increase in shorts, okay? However, as you guys can see, we've also had a massive drop in shorts as well recently, right? So this is the Ukraine panic that we had, and now we've started to really drop, okay? So this tells me that the opposite exists for the short positions. So if the longs are saying that there's a lot of people who are confident the market's going to keep going up, what this tells me is that there's not many people who are confident the market is going to keep going down, right? So this is an overall sentiment check of the major players, not the general retail market, but people who can actually open up large contracts on longs and short positions, okay? Now, the next thing on here, let's look at this. This is the funding rate. And as you can see across the board, we have extreme negative funding across the entire market, right? So whenever you have extreme negative funding, that means that essentially the short positions are paying extra money to keep their positions open. That means that they are exposed, and if there is a massive pump, these guys are going to be liquidated, okay? So generally, it just tells you that when you have negative funding, historically, this has been a bullish sign. So I really like the fact that I have negative funding right now while Bitcoin is holding these major supports and starting to show some really good strength. Next thing to go over is with the DXY. DXY is the dollar currency index. This is the relative strength of the US dollar relative to other assets. And although it's US dollar, it may not seem important. It actually is very important because this chart goes ahead and tells you essentially how much confidence the market has on risk on assets like cryptocurrency, right? So if the DXY is increasing, that means that people are fleeing from risk on assets and moving their money into dollars, and the vice versa also exists. So whenever this starts dropping, that means that people have more confidence in the risk on assets, and that they're expecting that the market's going to keep going up. Well, the DXY did have a massive pump during the whole Ukraine issue over the last few days, right? However, as you can see yesterday, we did have a nice drop onto this rising trend line. Now, this is actually a bearish sign for crypto that this is holding, okay? What I wanted to see is I wanted to see this trend line get broken, fall back below it, and then continue on down. That's what we want to see if we're going to see a continuation of bullishness in the crypto market. But right now, we're not seeing it. So The DXY is giving us a bearish indicator, while the rest of the market's giving us a bullish indicator. Okay, so it's a little bit of a weird situation right now where we don't have confluence between the different indicators. All right, so there's a divergence between those different things. Now, on the Bitcoin dominance chart, it's been very aggressive, guys. The Bitcoin dominance chart has been very aggressive. It's been very ugly. We've had this weekly breaker that has acted as a strong resistance level. We came all the way up here, but we did close back inside that breaker. So this is still acting as a resistance. So once again, we popped very high up, but we did collapse for a second week in a row. So this is actually forming what's called a tweezer candle. Okay, tweezer candle. And essentially, what that means is you're going to have two long-wicked candles that essentially show as a reversal pattern. Okay, so this is basically a tweezer top and a tweezer bottom. This right here is a tweezer bottom, and then you have like tweezer tops over here. So what that means is that if you are able to get two candles with long wicks like that, that shows a lot of bearishness in the market. So if we can close this still inside of this weekly breaker, and we have these two massive tweezers on there, that should be a really bearish sign to the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is good for altcoins, right? That means that the relative ratio between Bitcoin and altcoins is in favor of altcoins if we can confirm this, all right? So altcoin traders want this to drop down. Now, don't forget, in the overall market, this is what it looks like, okay? We had a massive, massive drop in Bitcoin dominance, which was the altcoin season back in March to April of this last year, okay? And we've been consolidating here, okay? We've not broken to the upside and reclaimed this level. We are only consolidating. And when you have a consolidation like this, it does make sense for us to continue to the downside, right? So this may be called like a bear flag, right? So you have a massive pull, some sort of a consolidation structure before a continuation back down. So on the macro perspective, the altcoin market still looks fine. Okay, on the macro perspective, the altcoin market still looks fine. And as long as this weekly breaker does hold, I do expect us to drop and roll over, and we will have a really nice dip in the Bitcoin dominance, which should give us a nice pump on the altcoins. All right, and our altcoins are actually starting to come alive, guys. Like there are some alts that are doing really, really well right now. Zcash is one that I can think off the top of my head. Luna's doing really good. There are some ones that are really starting to show up. So those may be leading indicators to the rest of the altcoin market that we're actually going to get some sort of a pump across the board. But ultimately, we want to see this weekly breaker continue to hold as resistance. If it does start to trade back above this level, that'd be a very bearish sign. However, we want to see it keep dropping. That's what we're looking for, guys. Total 2. This is the entire altcoin market excluding Ethereum, or total 3. Everything excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin. This is what the chart looks like right now, guys. And remember, if we zoom out, this level is a very, 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 very important level. I cannot overstate the importance of it, right? Because this is the golden pocket retracement of the entire structure right here. And as you can see, we are inside the golden pocket retracement, and that is historically a major support level for this structure, all right? So, we're in the golden pocket. I don't think now is the time to be bearish on the altcoin market, guys. It doesn't really make much sense. Now, on the lower time frame, we also have some very minor, or we have some very low time frame level things that are happening here. So we have this trend line that was formed, and as you can see over here, we had another retest here. We broke above it, fell through it, but we look like we have broken back above it and possibly a retest before a continuation back up. So this looks really, really good. Now, furthermore, if you look at this, the total chart and the total 3 chart, the total crypto market is down 4.3% today, right? Which is a pretty hefty drop. But the total 3, that's excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum, actually is only down 2.7%. That means that the total 3 is holding up a lot stronger than the rest of the crypto market is, which is a really good sign for our altcoins. So overall, guys, this is not looking that bad. All right. If you go to the Bitcoin pairings, you can see we have essentially green across the board. That means a lot of these altcoins are holding up very, very well relative to Bitcoin. So I don't think now's the time to be unloading your altcoins. It doesn't really make sense right now, but ultimately we do want to see if Bitcoin can hold these major levels and ultimately push to the upside. That's what we're looking to see here. Outside of that, guys, I think I gave you guys a pretty good overview of what my thoughts are and what to be looking for. The market does not look that bad. All right, it really, really doesn't. Make sure you guys are on Discord. I cannot stress it enough. There's a ton of information on there, and I really try to keep you guys up to date. Outside of that, I'm gonna let you guys go and have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next video. So, like always, deuces, boys. I'm out.